I'm just so excited to start this new year out with Empower Hour every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So today is our first go, and it's going to be weekly. And eventually, in 3 weeks, we'll start a book. We're going to start a book series. And this book series is called Unstoppable Self-Confidence. Now, as all of you might know, I am a life coach here on TikTok. And some of the things that I like to focus on are self-love, which I find is extremely important, very hard for a lot of us to do. And definitely building ourselves up and becoming a good community that helps each other grow and develop as people, right? So one of the books that we're going to be starting in 3 weeks that will go chapter by chapter in this session here every week at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Unstoppable Self-Confidence is the name of the book by Andrew Leadham. So we'll start that in 3 weeks with chapter 1. And eventually, just to get everybody and all of you involved, we're going to put a survey on my Linktree. And each week you'll be able to submit a response about maybe 3 things that you found interesting about what you read, or what 3 things that you like to learn more about. And that will help us guide our discussions from here forward. So I'm looking forward to starting that with all of you. But today I'm just going to start with just a simple, basic 13 kind of step process for how you can become better for you. Better for you. I read this article on Healthline and I'm pretty excited to share it with you. So how many of you have a New Year's resolution? Have you set a New Year's resolution? I did set mine. I think I did a video of mine. I posted a video of mine, which is basically to love myself more every day. You know, for the longest time, I think back. Ask yourself that. Do I love me? Ask yourself that question. Do I love me? I mean, we spend a lot of time picking ourselves apart in the mirror, comparing ourselves to others. We almost don't even allow ourselves to have room to love ourselves or to be comfortable or confident with ourselves. So it becomes tough. It's very easy not to love. It's very easy to love something else more than it is to love you. A lot of us spend a lot of time invested in relationships, but more invested in the other person. Loving the other person, thinking that that is what's filling our cup. But we quickly find out after the honeymoon stage sets out and everybody kind of gets into their routines and so forth, that those of us who do that tend to feel left behind. And we question the integrity of our relationship. We question the integrity of, this person's intentions, right? And why are we doing that? We're doing that because we don't have our own inner peace. We're doing that because we value them over we value us. We're doing that because spending time thinking about ourselves often becomes very scary and not easy to do. I remember talking to lots of people and I asked them, what do you think your strengths are? What about your weaknesses? And I can't tell you how many times when you ask somebody what their strengths are that they stumble. I'm loyal. I'm organized. I'm this, I'm that, and the other thing. And most of the strengths that somebody will articulate to you, will tell you, are things about being good at work. Okay, I didn't ask you what your strengths are in the workplace. I asked you what your personal strengths are. And that even becomes more difficult for us to even identify what those are. Think about it. What are your strengths? I'm pretty sure it'd be a short list. But if I asked you what your weaknesses are, tell me you'll be able to have a longer list of weaknesses than strengths. I'd imagine so. And that is typical. That's typical of us. And the reason why, there's only one reason, The reason why we have a longer list of weaknesses than we do strengths is because we're busy focusing on everyone else but ourselves. And sometimes spending too much space in our head becomes scary enough that we prefer to pass time passively, and sometimes engaging in behaviors that are not good for us. Like, for instance, for me, if I spend too much time thinking about other people and not myself, I then tend to get anxious, right? My self-awareness begins to drop. And my go-to thing for comfort is food. Food. I struggle with food. It is my vice, actually. Emotional eater, right? I've lived my life. I've been anorexic before. Never been bulimic, but certainly go up and down. I think I've lost more weight collectively than all of you in the room. And I always get back to the same place. And I wonder, why? And why does it have to be cyclical? You know? It becomes so disheartening and disappointing. Like, I feel like you fail at life, you know? Like, I've just failed at life. I can't do it. I'm back to where I was, you know? Stuck in my room, stuck at home, not going out, certainly not being seen, because the only thing that I can put on are sweatpants at the moment, right? But so many of you can relate to me, it's not even funny. The worst part of it all is before I've said it, you thought it was unique to you. You thought for a moment that you're the only one who goes through this. You thought for a moment that I'm the only one in this world that feels this way. And the truth is you're not. The problem is we don't share. We don't speak about the way we feel very much at all, especially in the United States. We don't share our emotions because that's a weakness. And forget it, men, sharing emotions, you can't possibly be a man if you show emotions. And we are robbed by the one thing that makes us all human, is the fact that we have these emotions. But it becomes our responsibility how to control them. And it becomes our responsibility to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. But the question is, John, well, what can I do? What's one thing that I can do to begin to change the cycle? Well, I'll give you 13, and we'll go through them today. First, most importantly, is to stop comparing yourself to others. We are from a competitive society. Naturally, we compare ourselves to others. That's just the way it goes. But comparing yourselves to others is a very dangerous thing to do. Because we must remember, in this life, it's about our journey, not somebody else's journey, and our goal should never be to want to aspire for one bit to even live somebody else's life, because that's robbing you of what yours was meant to be, what your destiny was meant to be. But your destiny will just sit in waiting, and it's very patient until you wake up and start to cultivate it, cure it, take a step outside the box. Instead of telling yourself no before you even try, because we do that in our witching hours, dark at night, stuck in our rooms. Instead of telling yourself no, tell yourself yes. Push back. You know, when somebody talks to you or gives you lip, you ain't nobody got time for that. Don't disrespect me, right? But shit, we disrespect ourselves on a daily basis. We tell ourselves we can't. We tell ourselves we know. We tell ourselves we're not good for that. We tell ourselves we can't wear that. We tell ourselves we shouldn't do that. All because why? We're worried about what somebody else thinks. Stop comparing yourself to others. Focus on yourself, focus on your journey. Try and shift the energy somewhere else to be free. What's another thing we can do to cultivate our self-love? Well, don't worry about other people's opinions. Oh boy. How many of us in this room, oh my God, I'm sure most of us, if anything, how many of us here put credence into what other people are going to think, even about an outfit, right? In the same vein, don't worry about what society thinks, or don't worry about what society expects you to do. One thing is true. We will never make everyone happy who is around us. And guess what? Who said that was your job? Your job in life isn't to make the people around you happy. You can certainly enjoy to do that. But your job in life is not just that. You're worth more than that. Absolutely. So don't worry about what other people have to say about any of the decisions you make. Let me tell you one. I'll tell you one for me. My parents. I mean, how many of us are like old, maybe even have children, and we still think about what our parents would say before we do something? What would they say? What would they say? What would they say about that? We all have that person in our life, you know, whether it's the parent or whether it's an aunt or a grandparent or somebody else. But I think at the end of the day, we can't care, even if they're family. And I know that's that's a hard pill to swallow. But even family sometimes needs to be cut. It's just the fact of life. Yes, I know there's that saying, you can choose your friends, you can't choose your family, but there comes a point when it's, you know, the family is doing ourselves a disservice. And we need to walk away for our own mental health, for our own good. And also recognize that these decisions don't have to be black or white. Meaning, if I say I cannot, you know, spend time with my family right now because of the situation, it doesn't mean I hate them or I never want to spend time with them. It's just at this moment in time, because mental health is on a continuum. It changes day to day, even hour to hour, some of us. At this time, where I am on that mental health scale, feeling it, not feeling it. That's the way we're going to describe our mental health. Feeling it, not feeling it, right? If I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling it. Doesn't mean that tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, those conditions won't change. But sometimes people just don't understand us. I know a lot of people out there who just, you know, who don't even understand what it means to struggle. What do you mean you never had anxiety before? You never felt depressed? You never whatever? Oh, you must be, you know, living a life. And then you really dig deep about those people. They always tend to be those very superficial people that don't really have much going on elsewhere else. You're not stone, okay? What makes us human are emotions. We all have emotions. We all need to understand our emotions. And though we understand that those emotions are paralyzing us, they understand those emotions. They don't even pay attention to them. They ignore them. So, don't worry about what other people think. Next, allow yourself to make mistakes. We're told it again and again, nobody is perfect. But the next time you do something, you'll spend an hour just ridiculing yourself that it's not good enough. Or afraid you worked on this project and you're afraid to share it to your friends or your family because, you've criticized it enough, right? You're not feeling confident about the product. But I bet you it's amazing. But we need to allow ourselves to make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. And with every failure comes an opportunity. And those of you who are familiar with my profile know that I have a 4-sequence process, which is quite simple. It's reflect, learn, change, grow. Reflect, learn, change, and grow. You reflect on the situation, right? You learn ways of how you could have made it better. You change your approach the next time, because there'll be one, and then you grow. But you certainly can't do that process unless you screwed up. You can't start that process unless you made a mistake. You can't reflect on something unless you have a reason or a need to reflect on it. And we can reflect on anything we do in life. It doesn't just have to be at work. It could just be with another situation. There's a lot of times where I'm like in my head sometimes and I'm like, man, does that person not get it? Like, does not understand, right? Like, some people just don't get it. Some people just don't. And those people you just got to just ignore. Let them be behind. Don't let them, cause any issues for you. But allow yourself to make mistakes. So forget about the voice in your head that says you need to be perfect, okay? Make mistakes and make lots of them, because the lessons you'll learn from reflecting, learning, and changing and growing are priceless, and they last a lifetime. They last a lifetime. When you touch that hot stove as a kid, right? You never touch it again. You don't even think twice about it, actually. And that's what happens when we learn and we change our behaviors. We don't have to think twice about it. And that's the beauty of it all, right? So it's important to allow yourself to make mistakes. What's another way? Well, remember, your value does not lie in the way your body looks. I'll repeat that. Remember, your value does not lie in how your body looks. This is so fundamental, it's not even funny. There's so many things in the world that we want to distract from this powerful truth. So many. You are valuable because you are you, not because of your body. You are valuable because of you and who you are and what you stand for. That's what brings your value, not your body type, not the way you look, your skin color. Whether we have, imperfections. A lot of us do. But your value is not contingent upon the way your body looks. What's another way? Well, don't be afraid to let go of toxic people. Again, as I said earlier, you can choose your friends, you can't choose your family, but you certainly can choose who you want to be close to you and who you give credence to. But don't be afraid to cut people off that just don't belong in your life. And a lot of us, leading up to the new year, we thought about who it is that we need to drop and so forth. But nobody takes responsibility for the energy they put into the world. And if somebody who brings toxicity in your life won't take responsibility for it, and you tell them time and time again that you don't like this, or you would appreciate they not do this or whatever, but you continue to put up with it because they're your good friend, they've been so for years, or they're a neighbor, or they're this one's child, or so forth, doesn't mean anything. Protect your energy. It's not rude or wrong to remove anybody from your life. And to be quite honest with you, those people who brought toxicity in your life, really? They're just energy suckers, right? A lot of them often are just like, come on, go out, let's go out, go out, go out, go out, go out. It's like, you know what? I'm not even your authentic friend. I'm just that body that you want to drag along everywhere on your journey out, right? Because I never get to go where I want to go. I only can go where you want to go, right? But I do it anyway because I'm getting out. Hey, whatever. No. Do it for you. This is about you. This isn't about them or anybody else. Life is about you. Here's the sixth. Process your fears. Process your fears. Don't reject your fears. Pay attention to them. Don't reject them. Understand them. That's a very healthy thing to do. To understand your fears. Don't reject them. Your ability to understand them and process your fears is good for your mental health. And it helps you think outside the box a little bit, right? Evaluating your fears, gain some clarity about where you stand in this life and what is causing the anxiety that in turn will help alleviate the anxiety that comes from fear. But let's talk about what these fears are, right? Because some of them we don't really identify. Like, for instance, we're single for a very long time, right? And we go on to the dating sites and we're on them, and we tell people we're on them and we're looking, but, we tend to just talk, and then when it becomes or comes to a point where it's like we're going to get a call or we're going to meet them, we evaporate. We just disappear. Like, you're taking ghosting to a whole new level. I mean, you're like hook, lining, and sinking, and then running. Like, for what? It's pretty funny how it works. But, we get very angry when somebody ghosts us or doesn't show up for whatever, but here we are doing the same damn thing. We can't be hypocrites, right? But we need to process our fears. That's what's important. Not reject them. We need to understand our fears. We need to evaluate them. We need to reflect on them. We need to know how they play a role, how they articulate into our day-to-day life, and how they limit us from reaching our optimal level of success. And that's what's really important. What's another thing we can do? Well, the other thing we ought to do is to trust ourselves, to make good decisions for ourselves. That's another thing. Sometimes we're even afraid to make a decision for ourselves, like, should I take this job? Well, I'm going to move away from my family. Should I take this job? Right? Think about that situation. Now you're worrying about what other people think about what you're doing. And one of the earlier things we learned is we can't care about what other people think. We can't live that kind of life. Can't compare ourselves. We can't, fear their response. We need to trust ourselves. Trust ourselves that we can make the best decision in our favor for us. We often doubt ourselves about our ability to do what's right when we're in these situations, when we're not feeling good, when we're feeling anxious or depressed. But most of the time, your heart will know what's best. Your heart will be able to guide you. And remember, all your feelings are valid. They are valid. You're not losing touch with reality. You're not. You know yourself better than anyone else does. And you must be your own advocate in life. You must. What else can we do? Well, we can take every opportunity life presents and make our own. Create our own. The timing is never going to be right. Whether it's needing to leave an abusive relationship, I'll wait for the kids to grow up, I'll wait for this to happen, I'll wait for the kids to leave the house. No. Because even then, the timing won't feel right. If it's not right now, it won't be right then. The whole idea of the whole thing is uncomfortable. Do it now. Because if you wait, the only thing you're doing is limiting yourself and taking away years of your life that you should be happy. But you're unhappy because you're allowing yourself to just submit, to be in the situation. Now, I know that lots of situations are unique. And if you are in any kind of situation that might be abusive, I really, really urge you to make phone calls. There's lots of community organizations that can help you. And this is not an uncommon thing. And I also hate to say that, a lot of people in these situations feel like they're alone. And I got to tell you, even post-pandemic, this world, we have a lot of situations. Did you guys see the on the news? Broke my heart. The guy in California drove off the cliff in the Tesla and they all survived. The wife and the 2 kids and him, he tried to kill them all. Take every opportunity life presents and create it your own. Do not wait. What are you going to wait for? Tomorrow is never promised. And our lives, in the grand scheme of things, are short. I sit here and I wonder how the hell I got wrinkles and old and gray hair. Where did it come from? Well, life goes by. And you want to make sure you're living it. Next, put yourself first. Whew, that's a hard thing to do for a lot of us too. But you should never feel bad about putting yourself first. And those of you with children have a trouble even thinking about what does that look like, what does that feel like, because the only thing to me are my babies in front of me, right? It's very hard to even imagine putting yourself before your kids. But you were yourself before your kids. You were you before you even had a kid. And how do you expect to be effective in your role as a mom if you're not filling your cup? Think about all those days that you were moody. Could have been different. Could have been different if you were taking care of you. But always put yourself first. This shouldn't be a trivial thing. Although there's time and place for a lot of this, it shouldn't be a habit that costs you your emotional well-being and mental health. Find time to decompress, right? You have to decompress. You have to unwind from the day. You have to do something, whether it's go for a walk, whether it's, do some kind of ritual before bed, or after you put the kids to bed, or even just making the kids go to bed half an hour earlier, one night a week. This is mommy time, right? Go to bed a half an hour earlier, one time a week. Put it on the calendar too to tell them, today is mommy time, we promised, and they'll do it. They will. Most often than not, they're just being, what do you call it? They're just being off the walls just because they know that it gives you a rise. It riles you up, right? Here's another. Feel pain and joy as fully as you can. Well, Think about in your past. Think about a time in your past. Just sit there for a second. Think about a time in your past. Was the time that you're recalling negative, bad, ended poorly, not good? A lot of times, the only thing that we can think of when we look backwards are times of trauma. Things that didn't leave us feeling good. But the time you tried the roller coaster for the first time, or the time you tried, skiing for the first time that brought you lots of smiles, forget that. That's not in our memory. The only thing I can think of are the things that, didn't rub me the right way. How do you get yourself to shift and stop thinking about or recalling those things that bring us angst and anxiety and embarrassment, and shift those to thinking about times in the past that were good, that we achieved milestones, that we accomplished a goal? I mean, that's where we need to be focusing our energy on, not anything else. An 11th way that we can, stay true to ourselves is to exercise. Exercise boldness in public. Not exercise. Exercise boldness in public. Get into the habit of speaking your mind. Boldness is like a muscle, right? It grows the more you practice. But join the conversation and contribute your thoughts, because your thoughts, no matter what you think, are important to the conversation. How many of you, a lot of times, you get into a conversation and you kind of feel silence because maybe not, these people are saying these things that kind of devalue maybe your experience you had with the topic, and you choose not to say it because you're like, oh, well, I don't want to look like an idiot, or, I don't want to, whatever. But if you had said it, you would have felt good. But the fact that you told yourself no, and you didn't say it, you left that meeting, or you left that experience feeling a little bit less fulfilled than you would have had you had said it. And that goes back to the earlier thing, is that, a lot of times we misappropriate who's to blame for why we didn't achieve something. We reach for somebody else, and we often do not take the blame on ourselves. And we need to. It's extremely important. We need to really call things and see them the way they're supposed to be. But exercise boldness in public means contribute your thoughts. Your thoughts matter. You matter. Your points are valid, and you are valuable. Period. If you want to think you're invaluable or your thoughts are mediocre and prevent yourself from experiencing, sharing, that's your fault. You did that. You told yourself and assumed that what you were going to say wasn't good enough. That's on you. That's your hill to die on. Nobody else's. So a lot of this too is about calling things the way they are and recognizing how we ourselves are even limiting ourselves from being able to do the things we want to do, or enjoy, or be part of, or contribute to those things. The 12th way is to see beauty in the simplest things. Let's talk about the word beautiful. Let's talk about the word cute. Let's talk about the word handsome. I see that in the chat. Hey, handsome, how are you? Hey, handsome, okay. that is your perception of what handsome is. That is your everybody has their own perception of what's cute, what's sexy, what's hot, what's fire. Just because you're not somebody's fire or sexy doesn't mean you're not somebody else's fire or sexy. You just got to go find the right person. And if you know that that person doesn't think you're fire and sexy, don't talk to them. Move on. Find somebody else. Spend your time looking for the other person who will appreciate you, as opposed to continuing to perpetuate and think about that one person who stole your sunshine back in 1973 when you were in high school dating for the first time. And you spend 30 years of your life still thinking about that one MFer, that one person, the person you can't stand. You have given so much power to control your damn life. That's another hill that you die on. That was your choice. But I recognize that that trauma is hard to bounce back from. And that's part of what we do here with the life coaching, is to how do you get rid of the things that have perpetuated and have grabbed you over time and time again that are in your past that you cannot seem to break away from. It always seems to pop up, even in situations anew. You know, you're just not feeling a good way. You're just kind of getting stuck, right? And all of a sudden, it's not just that feeling. It's the other feelings from in the past that come down. And then all of a sudden, you're torpedoed. And then you're in a depression, anxiety and all. It's a cyclical cycle. However, my program, the life coaching program, works on going and digging those up, changing the way we make meaning of those and how they transcribe in our lives today, and we bury them again, and then we move forward. That's the life coaching program, part of the focus of it. But try to notice at least one beautiful small thing around you every single day. Make note of it. Be grateful for it. Give it credence. Talk about it. Think about it a lot. Like those flowers, maybe. Beautiful, aren't they? Right? Instead of focusing on the things that don't bring us joy or we don't like. And I think the last and most important thing is to be kind to yourself. Phew. Be kind to yourself. You know, the world is full of baloney right now. There's so much stuff going on, horrible things, war, got, regimes that are rising up that are not good. Got even our own political climate going on. So easy to just get caught up in the monotony of it all. But I think the one thing that we can do, and the one thing that we need to do more of, is to be kind to us. I mean, as soon as we walk out of that door, we are hit with negativity, all this stuff, right? Duck and cover, trying to get through some of these things, right? We cannot continue to be our biggest critic, right? Don't add your own self in the mix here, all right? Speak kindly to yourself. Don't call yourself mean things. I know that's easy to do. Pick on yourself in the mirror. You just got a new outfit. Hey, look, Happy New Year. I just got a new outfit, right? Spent quite a bit of money on the new outfit. And when I put it on, I was just picking at myself, like, oh, man, giving myself reasons why I didn't deserve the outfit, right? How many of you do that? We all do that. Oh, it didn't look like it did on the mannequin. Well, the mannequin was made to be a mannequin. It wasn't made to model you, right? Be kind to yourself. Celebrate yourself. You've come so far. You've grown so much in this life. Don't forget to celebrate yourself. And not just on your birthday, which for many of you is a month long. But remember to be good and kind to you. So just a quick review, right, of these ways, the 13 ways, as we go. And those of you who just arriving or coming in and out, right, every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm doing Empower Hour. Next week, we'll continue a discussion around 4 agreements, a couple other things. But then the following week, we're going to start with our book series, which is Unstoppable Self-Confidence. So in week 3, we're going to go chapter by chapter each week. And we're going to create a survey that will be on my link tree that you guys could put some information in, some things you want to learn more about, some things you found interesting. So that will help me guide my discussions on a weekly basis as we go through the book together. And I know this book looks scary, but it's a really easy read. And believe me, the things that we'll learn from this book will be bar none. You all can buy one of these books and follow along with us on Amazon, or you could just show up every week. That's fine too. But you can get it on Amazon. It's called Unstoppable Self-Confidence, and we're going to be starting it in 3 weeks, okay? And then we'll go weekly after that for every time at this time and just get through the book. But just to go through over today, what we were talking about is we're in a new year, right? We need to remember ourselves in this new year. We've got to make sure that we change, right? Moving forward from here as best as we can. We learn from our lessons from last year, from the mistakes we made, and not dwell on those mistakes because nobody's perfect. But the 13 steps to achieving self-love include stop comparing yourself to others. It's number 1. You are number 1. Don't worry about what other people think. Society is not the judge of what's good and what's bad, especially in today's society. Nobody knows right from wrong these days. And allow yourself to make mistakes. Remember, your value doesn't lie in the way your body looks. Don't be afraid to let toxic people go. Process your fears. Trust yourself to make good decisions for yourself. Take every opportunity life presents to create it for your own. Put yourself first. Feel pain and joy as fully as you can. Exercise boldness in public. Be a part of those conversations. See beauty in the simplest things in life. And be kind to yourself. That is today. Today's Empower Hour, my friends. So we will be here again next week at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll do this every Thursday. So for right now, that's what I've got. Maybe, I'll start popping up on the weekends just for regular lives. But we're going to be doing this book series for Empower Hour. That's what we're going to start with this year as we go into it. And I can't wait for it, and I hope you guys participate. We're going to be doing lots of community events as well. We're doing one for Valentine's Day, which will give an opportunity for a lot of you to meet some of us and meet us on Zoom and hang out with us and get to know what SLC is about, Self-Love Club is about. Remember, this is a community of people who support a vision to provide an educated service to the community to help adults with their mental health and help them with their personal growth and development. That's who we are. And that's what my moderators are. That's what we all make up. So all of my contact information, my website, everything you need to know about me is in the link in my bio. Be friends with my mods. Get to know my mods, good people. We are looking for, lots of opportunity to collaborate more with others as well as we move forward in this new kind of frame of what we're doing. So I look forward to joining you. Remember, the book that we'll be starting in week 3 is Unstoppable Self-Confidence by Andrew Leadham. You can get it on Amazon. We'll start it in week 3. Okay? All right, my peeps, my fam. Remember, you are important, you are valued, right? You mean something, and you are loved. And if you don't think that you're loved by anybody, know that you're loved by me and this group of people. All my best to you and yours. I'll see you in a week. Take care.